Thank you so very much, Ms. Oppenheim. To conclude this morning's ceremonies, I would like to introduce our final speaker. Ana Dwyer is an adept writer, artist, pianist, and bird enthusiast. They have dedicated numerous hours not only to their perfection of Debussy's Reverie, or their unintentional memorization of The Name of the Wind, but to the betterment of our school community. They have taken on much responsibility during their time at Central through yearbook, PVA visual art, leadership, Model UN, and the Speech and Debate Club. Ana is a keen learner who brings dedication and a desire to expand their breadth of knowledge to every aspect of their life. They are not only an ambitious academic, but a deeply loving friend. Ana is a person of tremendous jolliness, loyalty, and compassion, and I cannot speak of someone whom I hold in higher esteem. Ana is heading to Vancouver to attend the University of British Columbia and plans to pursue a career in law. I have no hesitation in saying that they will accomplish marvelous things and will inspire immense and much needed change in our world. It is my absolute pride and pleasure to welcome the valedictorian of the graduating class of 2024, my good friend, Ana Dwyer.
Thank you, Izzy, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. You truly are one of my closest and dearest friends, so it means so much to be able to hear that from you. Thank you as well to all of the parents, teachers, and my fellow graduates who are here in this celebration today. Everyone tells a story about themselves inside their own head, always. All the time. That story makes you who you are. We build ourselves out of that story. This is a line from my favorite book of all time, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, as the title might suggest, it is a high fantasy book, filled with epic adventure, magic, and heroics, but to me, it's a little bit more than that. To me, it's a story about stories. About storytellers, about choosing who you are and what you want to fight for in a massive, complicated, and indifferent world. At the time that I first read this book, I wasn't quite sure who I was. I didn't know what my story was going to be about. Heck, I didn't even know where I was going to fit in at this brand new school with hundreds of new people. I certainly had no idea where I was going to fit in the world. I don't think I was alone in that. See, it is very difficult to tell our own stories when we are still discovering ourselves, just as it would be difficult to write anything if you didn't have a plan for the plot or the faintest idea of what the ending was shaping up to look like. High school is an especially daunting narrative challenge. Take a look at those first few days of grade 10, for example. They really are something special. You get a first glimpse of the new characters that are going to inhabit your life for the next 3 years. You meet friends, mentors, maybe an antagonist, maybe a love interest. You get a glimpse and to try new hobbies and skills you might never have realized you had. I mean, seriously, where else would you get to demonstrate your mastery over bowling than in mandatory grade 10 gym? Regardless of whether you're in it for the PBAs, for the skills, for the trades, or just to get through the next 3 years of your life, you are immersed in a brand new setting, a new stage, perfect for the delivery of a stand-up comedy act, or perhaps a heartfelt monologue. The new and unfamiliar hallways echo with tragedy and comedy. Lunchtime spent complaining about math tests or social studies assignments, fights and heavy conversations. A note slipped into a locker. Everything is new, but you learn to settle into it. You learn to roll with the punches. How to write a rap about globalization. How to make it from your class in the CT center all the way to your math class without being marked late. How to make small talk and rhyme with someone you've never met in the cafeteria. how to write a source analysis, a position paper, a PRT, a CART. There is a beauty to that feeling of mastery over our own lives that we very occasionally get to feel. And you get that feeling a lot in high school. There's lots to be proud of. Whether you're an artist, an academic, an athlete, all of the above, or none at all. Whether your story is conventional or far from it. Of course, by the time you think you've got it all figured out, you picked up a plot line you want to pursue, or perhaps a theme you might be interested in developing in greater detail, everything gets flipped on its head. Your final draft of the perfect document you spent hours on doesn't save, and Docs crashes just as you write that final sentence. You miss a point that costs you the game or your grade in chemistry. Everything can change so quickly that it can be difficult not to get overwhelmed. And there will always be moments where it feels like we're at our lowest, where it feels like everything we have worked for has just vanished. Friends change, grades change, our lives are constantly changing and growing. And while it would be so wonderful to stick with one story throughout all of high school, all of life, that simply isn't possible. I do not think that a single one of us here today is the same person now that they were 3 years ago. That goes for everyone. Parents, teachers, and of course, my fellow graduates. Our narratives are always changing, always growing. We cannot predict where we are going to fail and succeed in high school, just as we cannot predict where we are going to fail and succeed in life. So the important part is that we keep trying. We cannot control our luck or our circumstances, but we can control our outlook on them. We can choose to keep running, typing, fighting, singing, painting, dancing, and learning. We can choose to see a setback or a failure not as a world-changing, catastrophic event, but as a moment of growth, a moment of character development. I'm so proud to say that this class of 2024 is full of resilient, strong, and well-developed characters. Full of academic tryhards, devout athletes, obsessed artists, and dedicated tradespeople. It is because of your ability to struggle, stumble, fall, fail, and still get up at the end of the day that our school is able to go on artistic voyages to New York, put on stunning performances at the Jubilee, compete in tournaments for skills, trades, mathematics, public speaking, debate, model UN, and even take home city championships for football. These are the kind of victories that only come from struggle, from scrapes and bruises, from early morning practices and late night study sessions. These are the kind of victories that only come from 3 long, long, long years of character development. So, for what it's worth, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us for sticking with it. I'm proud of us for persevering, despite the many personal, emotional, and academic challenges we have all faced, despite the daunting political and economic climate of the world we live in today, and despite the cave-in of the math hallway last year, we are all here today. We survived, we grew, and I think that we are ready to turn a page, to start a new chapter. It's been 3 years, and I still don't know exactly who I am or where I fit in, but I know now that that's okay. I'm nowhere near the end of my story. None of us are, whether you graduate high school right here, right now with me, or you graduated a while ago. You may think that this is the end, the very last page, but really, it's just the last page of the prologue and the beginning to the rest of your life. So, go out and live it. Whether your next chapter takes place at university, at a college, in the workforce, take a hold of your narrative in any way that you can. Live as true as you can to your own story. Thank you so much, everyone.